Hello there. This is the third video I've recorded in one sitting. And this is probably going to be the most serious topic I discuss in any of the 4 videos I am uploading today. This is also probably the most serious topic I have discussed on this channel thus far. And if you're watching this 10 years from now, it will probably still be one of the most serious topics I have discussed on this channel thus far. I'm about to go into something that I take very seriously, and if you are watching this video, you should absolutely take very seriously as well. The Jeffrey Epstein files. I believe 3 or so weeks ago, I believe somewhere around 2.5 to 3.5 million Epstein files were released. Which, by the way, they were just trying to mess with us. They were messing with our heads with that, by the way, because there were some actual victims in there, and there were some people who just had their names and emails. There was someone in those files who died when Epstein was 17. So not even all of those names were criminals. So we really have no idea which ones are in the wrong. Well, we do have an idea, but the government doesn't think we have any idea. The government, we have an idea because the government thinks we're stupid, but the government thinks we got no idea who's in the wrong on that list. Pam Bondi released another list of Epstein files, I believe yesterday. And she told us that those were the rest of the Epstein files that had not been released, completely unredacted. My friends, those were not the rest of the Epstein files that have still been released. You know how I know they were not the rest of the Epstein files that were still unreleased? They were not the rest of the unreleased Epstein files because they were the exact same files that were released 3 weeks ago. That cough wasn't because I had to cough. That cough was because I'm very angry at Pam Bondi. That sounded so stupid. That's very obviously a joke, but I do take this very seriously. They think we are stupid. Like, it takes 5 minutes of reading through those files to notice I have played these games before. It's not that hard to just look through them and go, yes, this looks familiar. Wait a minute, they gave us the same thing 3 weeks ago. It's not that hard to look through the files and realize that. They really think we're that stupid. And the thing is, we're never going to get the full Epstein files. They're just going to give us random bullcrap until the end of time. We're just going to be going on this endless cycle of just random stuff that they're giving us that is just bullcrap. Or we're going to go on this endless cycle where they're just saying random lies about the Epstein files to get our mind off of it. One day they're going to be telling us Jeffrey Epstein was never real. Like, at this point they are. That's what Moist Critical was saying. That he was saying a while back, a couple months ago, that one day they're going to say Jeffrey Epstein was never real. I still think there's a chance they're going to do that. And they just went through this big long cycle with the Epstein files, where they were telling us a bunch of different things, and now we finally are getting some of them, and now that we're finally getting somewhere, they refuse to give us them all. Just, if you're going to release some of the files, you might as well release the rest of them. We already have incriminating evidence against a ton of people. Bill Clinton, Bill Gates. We've seen pictures of Stephen Hawking and Michael Jackson, ? In the Epstein files. So there are plenty of people that were not incriminated before that are now incriminated. Well, actually, we all knew that Bill Clinton was incriminated before. Bill Clinton had Epstein files written all over him. For example, Elon Musk was the guy who originally brought this back up because he was the one that said Donald Trump was in the Epstein files. And he was also saying that Epstein begged him to go to the island, and he refused. Now we know it was the other way around, and Musk was begging to go to the island, and Jeffrey wouldn't take him. Yeah, Elon, You got anything to say about that? I don't believe Elon has said anything about that. I don't believe Elon has responded to the fact that we now know he was begging and begging and begging to go to the island. There was one person who I forget the name of the guy. Oh crap, I should have looked back to figure out this guy's name, but I forgot about him before making this video. I forgot I was going to talk about him. But he was saying for months and months and months that he never went to the island a single time. Now he's telling us, and it's crazy that he admits this with a straight face. He's telling us, this guy, and I forget the name of the guy, I'll have to put it in the video when I'm editing it. The guy says that he went to Epstein Island with his children. He took himself and his children to Epstein Island and had a lunch with Jeffrey Epstein on Epstein Island. What? You're admitting that with a straight face? And you don't expect anyone to do anything about it? But no one is doing anything about it, bro. And there are literally clips of Trump talking about the Epstein files, and this guy is standing next to Trump laughing. Dude, because he knows he's never gonna get caught. Well, he's caught. He's been long caught. Everyone's been long caught, but he knows he's never gonna have anything done to him. And then there's the whole long thing with Trump, where after the Epstein files were brought back up by Elon, he said, first, it was during his campaign in 2024, he's saying, yes, if I am elected, when I am elected, because Donald Trump has such an ego that he thought there was no plausible way he was not going to get elected, which honestly people were so fed up with the Democrats after Biden's presidency that there really was no plausible way he wasn't going to get elected. But Trump was like, when I am elected, I'm going to release all the Epstein files, full transparency on the Epstein files. And now that Trump has been elected, he's just sweeping them under the rug. And he's like, then it changed to, yes, the Epstein files are on Pam Bondi's desk. And then the Epstein files were not real. And then they were real, but they were a hoax created by Obama and Crooked Hillary and Bill Clinton and the Democrats. And now the Epstein files are real, and we have some of them, but not all of them. But oh no, we have all of them, but the remainder that were unreleased just so happened to look exactly the same as the ones we got 3 weeks ago. What? No one believes that these are real files. Well, except Alex Jones, which I believe is what his name is. I know his first name is Alex. Except this Alex guy, Alex Jones, I'm just going to call him until I remember if I'm right or wrong about his name. But except Alex Jones, who is clearly very, very convinced that we have brand new incriminating evidence. But we'll get back to him later. Well, actually, no, I don't really have anyone else to talk about, so I guess we'll talk about Alex Jones now. Alex Jones came out in this big Twitter post, well, it's X now, but no one's actually going to call it X. It's been X for years. No one's calling it X. Everyone's still calling it Twitter. But he came out in a Twitter post talking about how we have all this new incriminating evidence proving that all these people did all these terrible things in the Epstein files, and bro seriously said, and all of them are Democrats. They're all Democrats. That backfired greatly on the Democrats. I cannot get over how stupid Alex Jones thinks we are. We already have pictures and upon pictures, stacks and stacks and stacks of pictures of Donald Trump with Jeffrey Epstein. And riddle me this, Batman. I'm sure there are a great many pictures. I'm sure there are a great many Democrats who are in the Epstein files who are criminals. Bill Clinton is almost definitely, well, it's not even an almost at this point. Bill Clinton is 100% a criminal in the Epstein files. He's a Democrat, but riddle me this, Batman. If there's only Democrats, no Republicans whatsoever in the Epstein files, then why haven't the Democrats been arrested? Now, even if you are a mainly Republican person watching this video, and I don't have any main affiliation with either party, I tend to steer clear of both of them. But anyone from either party watching this video can agree it's kind of fishy that the Republicans are saying it's only Democrats, but the Democrats aren't facing any justice. And here's what I think is going on here. I think the Democrats aren't facing any justice because the Republicans know that they are in the Epstein files as well, and they're not trying to incriminate the Democrats, because if the Democrats get brought in and they talk, the Republicans go down with them. And that's also why the previous administration did anything, because if they brought in the Republicans that were in the files, then the Democrats that were in the files would have been brought down with them if they talked. That's why no administration has done anything about this, because it hurts both sides significantly. And even if you are a Republican, you can admit that it does seem kind of fishy that nothing is being done to convict the Democrats that were involved. And even if you are a Democrat, you have to admit it's kind of fishy that the previous administration did nothing to convict the Republicans that were involved. It's both sides. It's everyone doing this. And it just makes me mad because it's the biggest child sex trafficking operation in the history of the United States, and the government is trying as hard as it possibly can to hide it. Why do we need? They're just hiding this because there are people in power who are incriminated by this. And, I feel like it shouldn't matter that the people who are incriminated by this are also the people running our country, because if the pedophiles running our country are in jail, that leaves room for us to elect better management. But no one will get rid of them because they're people in power. And it also so happens that the people in power who are in the Epstein files are the people controlling the files release, which kind of sucks. And I don't like it. No one likes it, from what I've heard. And, I mean, if anyone is supporting the Epstein files not getting released, they are brain dead, they are brainwashed by whichever political party they're affiliated to, telling them, the Republicans telling them, oh no, we can't release the Epstein. We don't need to, oh no, there's no Republicans in the Epstein files. There's none of us. It's all Democrats, and the Democrats telling their people, no, there's no Democrats in the Epstein files. It's all Republicans. Both of them are doing the same thing. They're trying to hide that they were in the Epstein files, which is why they have not convicted any of their political enemies who are in the files as well. There are people in the wrong on both sides. And it makes me mad because no one on either side is getting convicted and probably ever will. That's going to be all for this video, and I will see you when we actually have more news on the Epstein files. Just kidding. I'll see you in a couple minutes because I have another video that I'm going to record after this. But I'm sure I'll make another video on the Epstein files at some point, because I'm sure we'll have more news on the Epstein files, and I consider this to be very, very important that I talk about. More people need to be talking about this, and there's already a ton of people who are talking about this. There needs to be more, because we need to get them to release the files eventually. I mean, they probably won't, but we need to try. So, that's about it for this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.